Former President Obama said this week, when asked who should be running countries, that if women were in charge, you'd see a significant improvement on just about everything. Senator Warren, you would be the oldest president ever inaugurated. I'd like you to weigh in as well.
I'd also be the youngest woman ever inaugurated.
That was then presidential candidate Senator Elizabeth Warren, landing one of the biggest debate mic drops of the last presidential election cycle. This year saw one barrier fall when Kamala Harris was sworn in as the first woman, black woman, South Asian woman vice president of the United States. And as women inch ever closer to becoming the next commander-in-chief, a number have already paved the way, running historic campaigns for the Oval Office. And what did several of those women have in common? They were all over the age of 50. So why over 50? Know Your Value has teamed up with Forbes for a special 50 over 50 list to celebrate the women who have achieved significant success after that age, to showcase the women who are shattering misconceptions about gender and age well after 50. There are, incidentally, more women over 50 in this country today than any other point in history. Let's bring in Chief Content Officer of Forbes Media and editor of Forbes, Randall Lane. On the heels of President's Day this morning, we are looking at the women over 50 who ran for president. Not all of them, but some that we've picked out specifically for this list for this day. And Randall, of course, we start with Hillary Clinton, who over the age of 50 had many first female to do this, first woman to do that. What are they? And in some ways, she really sort of paved the way for many others.
She did. I mean, there was a woman in 1872, Victoria Woodhull, almost 50 years before women could vote, who ran for president on the Equal Rights Party line, losing to U.S. Grant and Horace Greeley that year. But think about then, we had 6 women, including 4 sitting senators running last year. And it really was Hillary Clinton who made that nothing unusual. She was the first woman ever to be on the top of a major ticket. She was the first woman senator out of New York, the third woman who was Secretary of State. So she talked about that ultimate glass ceiling she didn't break, but she did break many glass ceilings and made it normal. So that last year we had 6 women, including, again, 4 senators running for president.
And Katie Kay, we're looking at women on both sides of the aisle. You're next.
Yeah. Randall, let's talk about Carly Fiorina from the Republican side of the ticket. I mean, it's hard to imagine somebody certainly who'd been more qualified in business. She started out her life as a secretary, rose up through the ranks, was named in 5 consecutive years in a row as one of the most important businesswomen in America. And then she gets up onto the debate stage and, famously gets criticized for Donald Trump for how she looks. I mean, to me, in some ways, Carly Fiorina's experience epitomizes what women have to go through when they run in politics, and particularly perhaps older women.
She felt, kind of the wrath of Trump in this area almost before anybody else in the political arena. I mean, this is somebody who survived breast cancer. She was a John McCain surrogate, and she was and she ran for senator. So she'd had experience, but then when Trump made that comment about her looks, I mean, she's somebody who became kind of a never Trumper. Remember, she was, Ted Cruz picked her when he was running head to head against Trump in 2016 to be his vice president. She had actually a very strong debate at one point and was kind of getting a good look. And she wound up, of course, last year backing Biden. So here's somebody who, again, faced those arrows and came through and became, I think, stronger for it.
It's Jonathan Lemire, and I'm bracing myself for the viewer tweets that are coming attached to this name. But Jill Stein, of course, ran for president in 2016, and in a number of states, the votes that she gained were more than the margin of difference between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, and therefore has been blamed by many Democrats for costing Hillary Clinton the White House. But speak to her importance here. Why is she someone who, is still active in politics now? Why is she someone who should be noted and her accomplishments be considered?
I mean, in some ways, it shows some normalcy. I mean, you had arguably, again, a woman who cost another woman the presidency. I mean, she got over 1% of the popular vote, and she was more than the margin of difference in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, et cetera. And whether you want to, you can debate that all you want, but net, you had two women drawing, Jill Stein over a point and Hillary Clinton, of course, winning the popular vote. So there was, and nobody was really talking about that in terms of a woman taking votes from a woman. It was a Green Party taking votes from a Democrat. I mean, in some ways, there's some normalcy there, which, again, I think shows us that, now we have a woman vice president, that we are getting there as a society. We are getting there.
And then on this list, we have an unsung hero, Randall, Carol Moseley Braun. Talk about her.
Yeah. Well, listen, we love unsung heroes on this 50 over 50 project we're doing together. This is the first Black woman who ever served in the U.S. Senate. And in 2004, she ran for the Democratic nomination. And she ran as a proud woman, talking about how women can fix the mess that men have created. The idea that women are practical, the idea that women embrace partnerships, the idea that women are committed to making the world a better place because they understand the needs of children. So it was a very important run. It was a serious run. Again, she didn't make it even past, even to Iowa, but it was a signal. You had a Black woman running who was qualified, taken very seriously, and was running proudly as a woman.
Yeah. Forbes, Randall Lane, thank you so much. If you know a woman, by the way, who is shattering age and gender norms and would like to nominate her for our 50 over 50 feature, be sure to let us know. Go to knowyourvalue.com or Forbes.com and click on 50 over 50 to learn more. And by the way, you can nominate yourself, and you should.
Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news, or catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.